topic real quick because I posted this earlier, and I don't know how true this statement is, but it was reported by Hip Hop Dynasty. They allegedly said that the game said to Eminem, F everything you did. I don't care if you're richer. I don't care if you have more plaques. I don't care who thinks you're great. Nigga, I'm better. Let's rap. You did it with MGK. Why not do it with me? Now, if Game really said this, I'm not sure. I have to do more research on that. But I thought what was interesting were people's responses to this. These are the responses. I'm just going to go over them briefly because it's like thousands of comments, but, they're all pretty much saying similar things. They say he wants attention, and silence is the most effective thing when it comes to some senseless BS. We're talking about hip hop here. We're talking about the ultimate battle rapper here. Okay, here's another comment. Man, at this point in M's career, it serves no purpose. If I was him, I'd buy Game's catalog of albums. Here's another one. It says, this is a sales tactic for his albums, and he knows if M gives him a response, it will boost his sales. M is doing the best possible action by not saying a word.
So can I say something?
Go ahead.
We don't need to go any further. You see what's going on with Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you like I've been telling everybody since that news broke. White men been doing that shit for years in that sphere of sports, and nobody says a word about those types of less than stellar behavior from a figurehead and a leader. Now, when Eminem has been in battle with people who haven't necessarily been authenticated by the hip-hop community, not the black community, but the hip-hop community, like a Mariah or a Nick Cannon, or even to a lesser degree MGK, even though MGK gets a lot of love and rightfully so. It's never an issue of him attacking those people. But here we have somebody from maybe the most notorious hood in America who just so happens to come out of a comparable camp. The same person that put you on, put him on. So you know the area, you know the struggle, you know the credibility. The credibility is strong, as in the street credibility, the record sales credibility, the hit-making credibility, the rhyming credibility. The game checks all of the boxes.
He sold a lot of records, too.
No, I said the sales credibility.
Yeah.
The second thing that I brought up.
Yeah.
I brought up the street cred, then the sales cred, and then the rhyming cred.
I just wanted to reiterate that. Yeah.
No. We need to
because that's the first thing people bring up. Yeah.
Right. And so I fundamentally, in this sport, told you this is built out of inner city angst and competition. And part of why I make the tennis comparison so much is very much a one-on-one sport at times, or the boxing analogies. We do a lot of boxing and tennis analogies because it's very much one-on-one. Okay? When a guy like this checks the boxes that the game does, let's take this to boxing. Promoters and other boxers would say that you were scared to fight. Be like, well, why don't you want to fight him if you are who you say you are? It's like, well,
facts.
He's in your weight class. He's got a resume that speaks and says he should fight you, that he's capable of fighting you.
He wants to fight you.
He wants to fight you. And what you become in boxing, at least when you do this, is you become the guy that's ducking the fight. And in boxing, that matters. And I've always told you, it's like, oh, I don't even take that Floyd and Pacquiao fight that seriously, because to be honest with you, they both hurt their legacies with me for it not happening. I don't care the who, what, where, when, or how. You should have fought 5 years sooner. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't care whose fault it is. How about this? You both taking the L in my book, and I don't hold you as high. Because one way or another, that fight got ducked for about 5 or 6 years. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
And much like in that sphere, how it feels like, I still feel that way about Floyd and Pacquiao, it hurt both of their credibility. No, this is a knock to your credibility. So I don't want to hear that greatest MC of all time talk.
I don't even want him to be credentialized.
You gotta come outside and attend to these matters.
I don't even want to hear him credentialized as a battle rapper, Because you know what? I thought about something today, and I thought about infrared. And when Pusha T went out there and made infrared, Drake didn't have to respond, really. Drake could have played this game too, because Drake is selling more records than everybody.
Drake's
Drake could have
competitive.
just sat there and did
Drake's
nothing. But you know what
competitive.
Drake did? He actually went out there and stepped in the ring and allowed us the opportunity to get a story out of Don.
What did I tell you, Mike? I've never been a big Drake fan, and not about me being a big Pusha T fan. Just never been a big Drake fan. But Mike, when he made back to back, I was like, oh, I'm like, he gets it, he cares, but most importantly, because this is hip hop and this is about your credibility, he's not scared.
He's up for the challenge. And we can
He's
say the
up
same
for it.
thing even with Pusha
He's
T.
up,
Even
and
with
he's
Pusha
all,
T. And we know
no,
Pusha
but
T and his credit, his pedigree and the level he is as an MC. Because
right.
really, Drake stepping in that really didn't do anything for Drake. But I
Nope.
will give Drake
But
that credit.
No,
He could have sat there and ignored this like Eminem's doing, and his fans would be doing the
no,
same thing
Drake
that
gets
Eminem's
it.
fans are doing.
No,
You know
I
what I
told
mean?
you, Drake earned my respect with the Meek thing because I understood right there. It's like, well, not only is he not scared, but he gets it. He gets, for all the hit making, all the hook singing, all the helping everybody else singing all this.
Yeah.
No, he gets the fundamental basis that this culture is built off of. He's stepping to the table if you challenge him because he understands that's how this shit goes. And I told you, and I respect Drake forever for that. If you step to him, he gonna say some shit back. That's what's up.
After seeing how this is playing out and how scared Eminem clearly is, I respect Drake even more
Yes.
for doing Duppy freestyle, and we ended up getting the story of Adidon after that. Because all he had to do was just ignore Pusha T.
No, he's competitive.
Yeah.
He's competitive the way an MC's supposed to be, Mike.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. That comes with it. That's part of it.
M claims to be competitive, but I guess that's only when Nick Cannon jumps in front of the mic.
No, that's what I'm trying to say is that, like, we got to start. I told you this behind the scenes. I believe I texted this to you. We wouldn't be talking about any of this if the proper and appropriate narrative about his ranking as an MC would have taken place to begin with. He's somebody that sits number one all time in record sales, but really he's a 30 to 50 MC, Mike.
No, you're right.
And that's just it at the end of the day. And if we can stop looking at him in the improper light of him being a top 5 or 10 MC, which he is not. He's never been a top 5 or 10 MC to me. Like, never. Even at his peak, I never thought that he was a top 10 MC of all time. That's not saying that disrespectfully.
No, it's just the truth. It's just honest.
It's just the truth. And so when the guy who's probably skill, talent, album catalog wise deserves to be like number 37 all time on a list, but he gets talked about with Jay and Nas and Big and Pac his whole career. Well, that's not fair to him. That's not fair to us. That's not fair to hip hop. And it just would have been better if he would have been appropriately and properly rated the first time around.
Well, and
here's the reality of the matter. Let me just finish this up. If you rate him appropriately and properly, like I'm saying, is what you'll find is that all time he's really right in game sphere, which is why I'm saying this needs to happen. If you look at it objectively, it's like, nah, both of y'all is about 30 to 50 MCs all time right now.
Well, I think the other problematic part of
this is
when we look at Drake, we don't even think about a battle rapper. But when we talk about M, somehow the battle rap thing has become a part of his legacy. And, you know, of course, we've heard it over and over. Oh, nobody wanted with M. Oh, if you come with M, he's going to ruin your career. Or if somebody does come with a diss record, oh, that's it for them. He's going to murder them. And it's like, okay, well, that's just not the case. This is false. Somebody who actually does have a battle resume in game, and it's well documented, he comes forth with the record that we know if Nick Cannon would have made it, there would have been a response promptly. He comes with the record, radio silence. And not only is it radio silence, you got his fans out there like, oh, well, you know, that's not worthy of a response. No, that wasn't the narrative. So, I mean, I think, like you said, the proper placement is one thing, but we also have to put in perspective that the battle thing, that's just a movie. That's not real life. B
It's just a
Rabbit is
movie,
not a
dog.
real MC. Like Eminem is Eminem, but B Rabbit is a character in the movie. 8 Mile is not a real life thing. It's a
Also, too,
movie,
okay,
guys.
people need to understand this: a cipher in your hood or in the local town on stage is different than a battle industry rap battle.
On wax, yes.
Like that's different. And so, what I think is going on, this is what I mean about proper placement. Is it's like, oh, y'all are talking about that guy that likes to cipher.
Yeah.
We're talking about a battle. Like you're talking about the cipher, we're talking about the battle. You know what I'm talking about, Mike? You know what the cipher is like. It's like, no, let's crank that up and we all gonna take turns. That's the M y'all are talking about. You talking about the guy that's cracking in the cipher, where the mic is getting passed around, and it's like, oh shit, and that's what I mean. No, in that format, Mike, he excels and he shines because you can put him next to somebody like a Yasin and a Black Thought, and he can stand right there in that format.
Right.
Now, Mike, clear out the room and put him in opposition to one of those guys.
It's a whole
That's
different thing.
different.
It is.
Ciphering with somebody and battling somebody is two different things. You understand that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm talking to the people when I'm saying that. And so what people are looking at, you're looking, and this is what I mean about him properly rating. And we're about to talk about one of those guys. Well, Planet Asia is one of those guys that can cipher his ass off, and he's never been looked at the way that M's been looked at.
This is true.
Right.
I was gonna say I wonder why, but no, I'm not even gonna go there. He's a dope MC.
And we got evidence of that because he and this what's his name? Nug. Let me pull it up again because this shit was slapping.
Yeah, it was. I was digging it.
I told you, Mike, Nug Life, Planet Asia and Nug Life. This is what I mean. And so, like, Planet Asia is one of the best cipher MCs that I've heard the last 20 years. That's more who M is. Like, he's more in, like, Planet Asia's realm and games realm than he's even realizing. It's like, no, like the powers that be that don't really run this culture but run the music side of it, they placed you up there. It's like you were never up there. And it just needs to be an honest conversation. And there's nothing wrong, Mike, with being like the 37th best MC of all time. It's like thousands of MCs.
Yeah. Now, that's an accomplishment in itself. And even, again, all jokes aside, the records that M has sold, it's amazing. I mean, it's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
He's so accomplished in his career, but we got to put things in perspective. And it is what it is. I think that what Game has done, I think Game has stepped out of the realm of what people in the industry are supposed to do. And this reaction or non-reaction, I mean, it's exposing what really is what it is. Because again, we've seen Nick Cannon jump out there with a record. We've seen Benzino jump out there with a record. We've seen Everlast jump out with a record. And all these are in different eras. Eminem responded promptly, even as recent as MGK. And for the people out there who are out here talking about Rap Devil is better than the Black Slim Shady, it's not. I mean, we've constructed that record and broken it down and all that. But the same people were out here trying to downplay even that MGK record when it came out. Stop playing games and stop moving the goalposts. This guy is not what you're saying he is on that level. Now, he's a great pop rap star. It is what it is. That's what he is.
This is even what I mean. Okay, so.
But battle rapper, no.
No, listen to what I'm about to say. Let's make it more relatable for people just on a fundamental MC level. And let's not include his whiteness in any of it.
I never do.
No, I know you don't, but I know even when people are talking, they assume that we're including his whiteness in the things that we're saying. His comps for me, if we're talking great all-time MCs, well, it's not Jay-Z and Nas and Big and Pop. It would be Redman and Busta Rhymes. Now, you think Redman and Busta Rhymes are top 20 MCs all time?
I think Redman is.
Busta?
Maybe. I think he could be, and I think he's just missing the classic albums that Redman has, in my opinion.
I would agree with you on that sentiment. And so if I were to place Redman, I told you Redman probably falls somewhere between 11 to 15. And Busta Rhymes would probably be somewhere between like 19 to 25. Now, do you think Eminem's catalog, Mike, just the catalog alone, is comparable to their catalogs?
I don't.
Now, skill-wise, do you think that he's comparable?
When you say skill wise, yeah, you know what? I'll say yes because I will give him this over the other two. I think that he's a better storyteller. I think that
Great.
when it comes to in-depth songwriting, stuff like Bonnie and Clyde '97 and things of that
Yep.
nature, he has that over them.
Yep.
Yes.
So he belongs right there. But here's what I'm trying to tell you. Well, you just said catalog wise, he doesn't belong. MC wise, he belongs. Well, Mike, let's go to the thing. Where's songs at? Because
Well,
remember when I was doing Busta's rundown of Busta's songs the other day?
yeah.
Like, where's that at even? You get what I'm saying?
He makes listen, and this is where the discrepancy is, and I think Game kind of addressed this in his record. He basically makes rap records for a non-rap
Rap
audience. It
It's
is
not
what
a
it is.
rap record.
There's no other way to say it. It's just the truth. He makes
Okay,
rap records
so
for
what
a
I'm trying to say,
non-hip hop
so
audience.
let's just generalize it and kind of close it like this. Well, Busta and Redman are both. How about this? No matter how you feel, they're top 25-ish rappers. Let's just say that Redman and Busta are top 25-ish rappers. Well, he doesn't necessarily compare to them fairly. And so even placing him at like somewhere like 35 to 40 is pretty nice because I don't even know if he compares to Busta and Red. And Busta and Red would be on the back end of most people's top 25 at this point, Mike.
And that's not even factoring in the 20-year drought. We're talking about in a vacuum at his peaks.
Yeah, we're talking in a vacuum.
So yeah, we're not even talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about the
fact
highest
that
of your eyes. It's like put Busta's 4 best album, Redman's 4 best album, Eminem's 4 best albums. It's like the only thing that you're gonna find comparable is the skills, the albums, and the songs, buddy. And those guys are top 25-ish, like back in top 25-ish. And so when he gets placed in that Nas, J, Big Pop category up in the top 5, when he's not even registering with the top 25-ish necessarily, that's the schism. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's what needs to change. That's the narrative that specifically needs to change. Because if that narrative change and we rate him properly and people stop inflating it, well, we don't need to do all this stuff.
You're right. But I think what Game did, and I think we were starting to really understand that when it comes to the music, but I think what Game has dispelled is this super battle rap mystique.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is what I mean about, well, they got signed by the same person. Game probably seen some things from the inside for years.
Yeah.
That, over the course of time, we probably weren't even paying attention to or
Snoop
caring
said
about.
something, remember? And they came down on Snoop heavy for it. All Snoop said was, Snoop said, look, I can live without it. And so, like
but that's different than challenging somebody to a battle, though.
I agree, but I think that the problem with the whole thing with what Snoop said is they came down on Snoop like he was coming at dude. He didn't say anything like that. I just said that I'm not a huge, I'm saying? He's not in my top whatever.
Okay, well,
and they tried to turn it into a beef. It wasn't even that.
I'm not going to bring up what that is, Mike, but we all know what that is, and that don't have anything to do with rap. That don't have anything to do with music.
Yeah.
Yeah.